That's so good. We'll run that back though. Oh, hello everyone. Is this thing on? Check. It is on. Hello everyone. How's it going? It's so nice to see you. I was gonna say it's so nice to hear from you, but I can't actually hear you guys, right? You are doing the hearing. Let me see. What I need to do is pull up the YouTube channel to make sure that you guys are actually here and we're actually live. Otherwise, this would get awkward real fast. Check. I wish I could hear my voice in this thing. All right. How you guys doing out there? I'm gonna do one quick little edit. Seems we're having some kind of. I'm gonna read Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, and we're gonna go over it. That's what we're doing. In case you guys are wondering, we're gonna go over it in depth. We're gonna do it in detail. Audio input capture. Check. And I hope you enjoy it. We've been, who is it? Check. Sea Fleet, how's it going? It's, who was it? Someone told me that Scorpio season's basically getting into that finance season. So I'm thinking, how am I gonna swing occult? How am I gonna swing occult stuff, spirituality stuff, philosophy with finances? So I was thinking about it, and it's like, all right, that seems cheesy. How can we swing this? How can we do this? And the answer was Napoleon Hill. See, I when I think of Napoleon Hill, I think of Napoleon Hill and The Interview with the Devil, and that doesn't talk about finance at all. It's funny because people think Napoleon Hill, they think and Grow Rich, and like type A hustle game, and businessman and salesman, and how do you get your head straight, and conversations with Carnegie, and building business empires to take over the world, and do you, boo-boo. But the crazy thing is Napoleon Hill was on another level when it came to the occult, spirituality, and stuff like that. Oh my God, was he on one? Check. Oh, there it is. I was like, maybe it's that direct monitor button. Why can't I hear myself? And it's because the direct monitor button wasn't on. I just got this new setup. It's awesome. So bear with me. But I think we're good now. I think we're chilling. Creative Mind, hello. Julio, thank you. Mystic Auto Shaman, hello. Welcome in, everyone. Come on in, take your shoes off, stay a while. What was I saying? Napoleon Hill is massively into the occult. So the reason why, at least I believe, this is a Keith G hypothesis, but the reason I think Napoleon Hill was so financially savvy was because he was so in tune with the etheric. He was so in tune with the spiritual occult world that he knew a different way to get finances. There's a bunch of different ways to get whatever you want, but there are better ways, obviously, or different ways to do it. Maybe not even better, but just different ways to do it. And he knows a lot of them. Oh my God, does he? So I want to go. In other words, I want to go over Think and Grow Rich and take out the spiritual aspects of it, in a way that I could help us along this Scorpio season. Find some hidden gems. Scorpio season, the season of hidden gems, and and have fun. And have fun while doing it. We got water tonight. We're drinking water and burning oregano. It's been a while. I say a while like it's been a while. I've just been too lazy to take everything out of the cupboard these past couple days. Anywho, I'm really excited for it. I'm really excited. I do have an audiobook. I don't think I've done an audiobook of Think and Grow Rich on this channel, but I did do Interview with the Devil, and the weather. Yo, real talk. It's not as sexy as Think and Grow Rich, obviously, but if you're trying to be mind blown, go listen to that audiobook on my channel, Interview with the Devil, Napoleon Hill, and it will blow your mind. It will blow your mind. But right now we're talking finances, baby, because we're trying to build pyramids. Actual pyramids, by the way. Whenever you hear me talk about pyramids, I'm referring to real life. Stone. Pyramids. Stone. Is what we're going for. So shall we? I'm trying to think. I took notes. I'm trying to think if I should go over the notes or start reading from it. Maybe read a chapter, kind of arbitrarily pick out a chapter and go in on it, you know? Yes, Mystic Shaman. I'm not sure what book you're referring to, but both of them are Think and Grow Rich and Napoleon Hill's Interview with the... I keep wanting to say Interview with the Vampire, because Interview with the Vampire, but it's Interview with the Devil. Go check it out. Go check it out. Okay, let's start cracking into this. It's like, should we go over the forward? There came a time when the world's richest man, Andrew Carnegie, backed me in a plan to find the secrets of money, success, and life success. We can read his clout, or we can just start reading the book. We'll just start reading this book, and then we'll go for the clout. Outwitting the Devil. Nice. That's a good one to add to the collection. Lady Fleet. I loved that one so much. Were you there? I remember recording that. We were at my old house when John Smith was holding it down. Agent Smith was holding it down in the moderation section. And we did our old Southern drawl accent with Napoleon Hill. And I'm a little rusty, but it came out fire in the book. It's really dope. We went into it. We got into character. Okay. Well, shall we? Shall we? Let me know if the music's too loud. I'm still dialing in the new sound system. Okay, here we go. Chapter 1. We're already getting into it. Know your own mind, live your own life. He says, you have a great potential for success, but first you must know your own mind and live your own life. Only then will you find and enjoy that mighty potential. Become acquainted with your inner self, and you can win what you want within a time limit of your own choosing. Certain special techniques help you win the goals of your dearest dreams, and every one of these techniques is easily within your power. Somewhere along the path of life, every successful man finds out how to live his own life as he wishes to live it. The younger you are when you discover this mighty power, the more likely you are to live successfully and happily. Yet even in later years, many make the great change, from letting others make them what they are to making sure that they make their lives to their own liking. All right, so already we've gone over the law of the mental universe, understand, but more specifically, this last line. It says many are making the change. Many make the great change from letting others make them what they are to making sure they make their lives to their own liking. That's the law of cause and effect. Law of cause and effect says, in this aspect, you can either be the cause or the effect. You cannot change your role. And it's saying most people are the effect because most people don't think thoroughly and critically for themselves. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing. We can get into that later. But just the fact or the matter of consciously making that decision of whether you want to be the effect or the cause makes all the difference. We're talking about mind. We're talking about cause and effect. We're talking about the individual spirit. It says the Creator gave man the prerogative power over his own mind. It must have been the Creator's purpose to encourage man to live his own life, think his own thoughts, find his own goals, and achieve them. Simply by exercising this profound prerogative, you can bring abundance into your life, and with it know the greatest wealth of all, peace of mind, without which there can be no real happiness. Why in God's name is Think and Grow Rich one of the finance staples of the industry, one of the psychology staples of the industry, talking about peace of mind, talking about the greatest wealth isn't finance, bro, it's peace of mind, without which can be no real happiness. And now what he wanted to say, what we could have said, is that abundance, including the financial side, comes from allowing an open channel to what it is that you want. And peace, ease and grace is one of the best ways to get that channel. That is, for example, that's all. Here's your thought experiment. Here's your chance, Keith. How do you like the dot? Anubis says hello, everyone. Anubis says hello. Abundance comes when you willed and determined and solidified and defined abundance comes when you have a nice pipeline in which that thing can become manifest in your life. That's what peace of mind. Oh, that's right. The example. They always tell you to breathe, relax. When you focus, if you're an athlete or if you're a musician and you have nerves, what do? You relax. If you're going to give a big speech, if you're going to talk in front of 1,000 people, you feel nervous and you want to give a presentation, you got to relax. Peace of mind. The greatest wealth is peace of mind, because without peace of mind, you're not going to be successful as often. Like, of course, we can be successful when we lose our shit, or when we get super angry, right? Or we get super upset, and there's a really strong negative force that propels us to action to make something positive. Like, of course, that works too, but that's not sustainable. We can't live in that energy, because you live by the sword, you die by the sword. So we can't live by that energy, but it is nice to use it and transmute it when it does come along. However, we don't want to operate from the dark side all the time to get what we want. Sometimes it's fun, man. Sometimes you gotta go dark side, get yourself a cool mask and a vocal changer, get yourself a red lightsaber, and just start cutting people in half. I get it. I might have been one of those dudes, and I might have been one of those dudes in another lifetime. Maybe I'll be Darth Vader the next life. I don't know. Point being, we want to operate from ease and grace. The greatest wealth of all, according to Napoleon Hill, our master of finance, is peace of mind. You live in a world filled with outside influences which impinge upon you. You are influenced by other people's acts and wishes, by law and custom, by your duties and your responsibilities. Everything you do has some effect upon others, as do your actions upon you. And yet you must find out how to live your own life. Use your own mind. Go on toward the dream you wish to make real, to make solid. Know thyself, said the ancient Greek philosophers, and this remains key advice for the man who would be in all ways wealthy. Without knowing yourself and being yourself, you cannot truly use the one great secret which gives you power to mold your future and make life carry you the way you want to go. All right. Let me know if you hear audio because it's frozen on my side. We are a wee bit frozen, and I'll continue in just a second. But welcome, everyone. We're reading Napoleon Hill's. Now I'm saying outwitting the devil. Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. We're breaking it down, getting some occult out of it. I would like to do some. I would like to flesh this book out a bit, and really start applying finance to the occult world, and you know what I mean. Just so. I mean, you guys know how it is. You're trying to do spirituality, you're trying to do the philosophy thing, and then money gets thrown in the mix, and everyone's too good for money. Everyone's like, money is the root of all evil, yada, yada, yada. And we get this really messed up relationship towards it, and then we like, anywho, that ain't us anymore. It's not, baby. We actually been killing it. We actually been steady killing it lately. Anywho, where was I? Planet Earth. Solar system, Milky Way, galaxy, quadrant 4. Quadrant 4, I repeat. Nice, okay. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3, check, check, check. Alright. Alright, we'll keep going. Alright, that one seems pretty basic. He talks about Thomas Edison. Interesting. I'm a little sad, though, that Napoleon Hill didn't write more about Tesla. He writes about Thomas Edison, and we all know how Thomas Edison got down. The dark side of Thomas Edison, at least. Excuse me. All right, let's get to the next. All right. This one's on artists, the creatives, so I'm choosing this one next. Great artists live their own lives, or they could not be great. So one of the great opera stars of all time, Madame Schumann-Heink, as a young girl went to a music teacher to have her voice tested. He listened a few times, then said brusquely, "That's enough. Go back to your sewing machine. You may become a first-class seamstress. A singer? Nah. Remember that the voice of authority speaking. The girl could have been forgiven for deciding then and there that she would never sing again. Yet she had and kept possession of her own mind. She became all the more determined that she would learn to sing and sing well. This she did, and the world became richer. So it has been with many other cases in which great personal talent might have been lost forever if the possessor of that talent had not felt it, even when the experts said it was not there." A tonic. Faith and autosuggestion. All right, we'll keep going here. Where was my spot? Prerogative power. All right. Never believe you don't have what it takes. Probably you are reading under an electric light. You know that Thomas Edison gave the first practical electric light to the world. But did you know that Edison was thrown out of school in the early grades after his teacher decided he had addled mind and could not take schooling. It says a boy finds a friend and finds himself. I too was nearly doomed by a false label of unworthiness, Napoleon Hill says. I was then 9 years old. My mother had died a year before, and I lived with relatives. To them and to my own father, I was a problem child who never would accomplish anything, save perhaps a life of crime. Yeah, so we're going to skip to the next chapter because he's mostly lays. I feel like he progresses in almost the occult realm as he does in this book. It like starts off baby steps. The spiritual defenses. The spiritual defenses within the castle of your mind. I have purposely used the word defenses in order to call your attention to its varying meanings. A mind that is on the defensive is not an open mind. It is more likely to be a frightened mind, full of excuses and evasions, and hardly capable of lifting its possessor's eyes to the far horizons of accomplishment. But in speaking of spiritual defenses, then I speak of nothing that is negative. Rather, I speak of certain areas within one which may withdraw and thus become more completely one's self. Every successful person I have known has surrounded himself with these spiritual defenses in one way or another. I adopted the system and have found it invaluable. Here is how it works. Consider your mind to be laid out in the pattern of some medieval castle. At the center there is a tower or a keep, which is impregnable as it can be made. Going outward from the keep, you would come to a wall not so formidable. And again, going outward, you would come to another wall, which serves as the first line of defense. Right, so we got the picture of the castle in our heads. A person approaching the castle first would have to pass the outer wall. This wall of spiritual defense, the outer wall, in your mind need not be very high. Anyone who has a legitimate excuse for entering your mind with his ideas can climb this wall. If he does not have a legitimate excuse, however, the wall discourages him. When you set up such a wall, others come to know that it is there, and you give yourself a valuable protection. Oh man, that's beautiful. Now we're sort of getting into the subconscious realm. We're getting into like masculine, feminine, subconscious, conscious mind stuff right here. So keep in mind the different qualities of the mind. The passive mind, the active mind, the subconscious mind. That's the depth. That's the richness. Anywho, let's hear what Napoleon has to say on this, and then we'll add our tidbits because it's proper right now. A person who passes the first line of defense now confronts the second line, which you may set up on certain occasions and not on others. When your mind sets up this wall, nobody may climb it unless that person has something strongly in common with you or something importantly beneficial to share with you at that moment. The innermost castle of protection is the most important of all. It is small, barely big enough to surround you. But when your mind retreats within that, it is removed from every outside influence. With me, only the Creator can penetrate my innermost spiritual castle. Find yours, and you find a source of great strength. Here is where you can find your innermost thoughts, undisturbed by outside influences, and until you find this castle, you can never know them. Here is where you can search all the values of a problem and find a solution which otherwise you might not see. Here especially is where your fully possessed mind reveals what can be done. And when you come out of your retreat, you know what will be done and you know how to do it. And you know you will do it. At first, you may find it necessary to retreat physically from the world into a quiet room or perhaps to some place distant from your business and from people that you know. This often is a good idea even when you have practice in finding the innermost privacy of your mind, because there are many physical circumstances which break into thought. All right, so I'll take a break right there real quick. And it is the fortitude. It is maybe not even the fortitude. It's not about the strength of mind. It's about knowing how to properly use the mind to get what you want. And I have this conversation a lot with masculine, feminine, and how the feminine is passive and the masculine is active. And people are like, no, the feminine's also active. And it's like, we're having two different conversations here. We're having the conversation we need to have on the esoteric level is qualities. One goes forward and one goes back. One is active, one is passive, right? And they are separate. And in the esoteric terms, we use masculine and feminine, but we don't have to. Point being, it is when and how to use the masculine or feminine to get what you want. And the castle example that Napoleon Hill just gave is the perfect blend of the two. It's the perfect yin and yang, because you have both aspects. You have the masculine, which is the wall, the barrier, the thing that keeps you safe. In other words, it's the container for your space. And the further into the space you go, the deeper into the space you go, the closer to self you get. The closer to the innermost part of you, which is the subconscious mind, which is where we program our thoughts, which is where we program our being as who we are. That's the feminine. And that's what it means to be passive, is you're absorbing energy at all times, at 24/7. You are like Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is both capturing a signal and sending one out. So it's but 24/7 because it's a passive system. It's always going. That's what passive means. The problem is it doesn't. The problem is its power. Its power is that it's going 24/7, which means it's always broadcasting that signal. And the bad part is whatever signal wants to come in, it's absorbing and making its own. It's making its own, because you can't put hot water into cold water and the cold water not become hot. It's as simple as that. That's why they say you surround. That's why I said earlier, when you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Because when you surround yourself with that frequency, you become that frequency. All right, so the masculine. Sorry, this thing got caught up. And that's the perfect combo. That's why you gotta know you can't be too strong mind, because nothing gets in, and then you're stubborn. You have the inability to change. You are rigid. You are all active, no passive. You are all ram, no take. And if you're too on the passive side, you don't have any walls, then you lose yourself. You lose yourself to external forces because you dissolve in all of it. Hey, y'all, can someone leave a comment for me? Because I haven't seen any comments in the chat box, and that makes me worry. Hopefully it just means you guys are listening, in which case I love it. I just want to make sure we're actually live still. And if you are there, do you have any questions on, or would you like to add anything to the masculine feminine? This example that Napoleon Hill gave of the castle is brilliant. We'll recap for our notes. All successful people have different access, have different availabilities of their mind. Each one's guarded with a more serious wall. And you vet every person. The first wall keeps out a certain type of person. The second wall keeps out this type of people. The third one keeps out all people. The innermost wall is you. That's your sanctuary. That's your connection with the source. Hold on. Forgot to plug in the computer. Seafleet, thank you for that. Let us continue. Let us continue with our boy Napoleon Hill. I'm torn between jumping around the book and just reading it in order. I guess you guys can let me know what you think too. Well, at least finish this part. It continues with the castle. It says, when you have several times retreated to your thick-walled keep, however, you will find you can enter it for a few seconds even in the midst of others who are talking all around you. I have seen many successful men do this and thus illustrate some of the power to which they owe their success. It is a great renewer of the spirit, a kind of recharge of ability and self-confidence and abiding faith. All that I have to say in this book is keyed to one supreme secret. This secret has been strongly sketched. This secret has been strongly sketched in throughout this throughout this chapter. You have seen it, and already it is beginning to penetrate your subconscious mind, which never forgets. Now I feel bad for skipping around because he probably dropped a bunch of gems on us, and it's like, do I read it in order? The only reason why I was thinking to jump around was because I wanted to hit all the hot spots, but it's like if I just read it in order, the whole thing's a hot spot, man. This guy was a spiritual genius. He really was, and a lot of people don't realize how deep Napoleon Hill was in this world. You guys probably do, but like not your average folk. I'm trying to think of my homies that were reading Think and Grow Rich in college that had it on their bookshelf because they were business majors and wanted to make all the money and buy mansions and Ferraris and shit. And then later when I learned who Napoleon Hill was, I was like, whoa, that's what this dude was into. That this is the conversation that he was having. Anywho, I actually haven't read Think and Grow Rich in such a long time. It's nice to read it. It's nice to read this text with this frame of reference in finance after having studied this world for such a long time. I've been in the spiritual community for like 10 years. 10 years, a good solid 10 years, if not a few years longer than that. But to have all that knowledge develop and then go back and read Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich in a finance frame of reference is really cool. I'm really enjoying it. Thank you also, Creative. Thank you everyone else who's chilling so hard that you couldn't even make the keyboard. I love it. That's what we're here for, man. We're setting them vibes. Okay, let's go. We'll keep reading. It's funny. He's got his little recaps in here. Ooh, 2. Close the doors on your past. Whenever you meet a misfortune, put it in your past. Keep your mind upon future achievement, and you will find that mistakes of the past often work to fill the future with good fortune. Your wealth, your peace of mind are strongly connected with each other. Even at the lowest level jobs, your success waits within your mind. Add value to your work, and you set in motion the forces that make the concepts of your mind turn into the realities of the living. I feel like I'm giving a hype speech before a big conference or something with the music going in the background. It's like almost too cheesy. I'm just like, you can be whatever you want to be. Everyone's like, yeah. Are you willing to give into your future? Yeah. Are you willing to invest in your life? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll keep going. I'll keep going. When I was still a poor youth in Wise County, Virginia, I invested 25 cents into a raffle ticket. The prize was a horse. I won. A horse was of considerable value to a farming family in those days, and this one, all agreed, was a good horse. Filled with pride, I led him home. How fortunate I was. Or was I? Having installed my horse carefully in the stable, I treated him to oats, corn, hay, all he could eat. That same night he broke out of the stable, went down to the river, and drank his fill of water. As anyone who knows horses could have predicted, the poor bloated animal foundered and died. It cost me $5 to have him hauled away and buried. So much for my good luck. Yet who can tell the uses of the past? I was able in later years to look back upon the incident and see I had been fortunate. I had been fortunate. You see, I never again have been tempted to risk money in any kind of gambling. Surely I have saved the cost of many horses, let alone saved my peace of mind. Now let me tell you of a more serious incident which cost a man's life, threatened my own, prevented me from taking advantage of a great opportunity, seemed like an unmitigated disaster, and yet turned out to be for my boundless good and the good of all others. Should we stop and realize what's good at the moment? This is pure alchemy. It's pure alchemy. It's never waste a chance, never waste an opportunity to learn a valuable lesson about life. This is the lead into the gold that the alchemists talk about. It's so silly because people will have these, or maybe not silly, I shouldn't say silly, but people will have these really long conversations and dialogues and books about spirituality and the woo aspects of it that I love and that you probably love too, and it's great. But when it all boils down to it, these like massive alchemical terms boil down to something as simple as, can you learn from your mistakes? Can you learn from your mistake? And the next time that situation comes up, you make a better choice, and boom, you have now raised your frequency. Like, it's as easy as that. It's not being in your closet lighting candles. I mean, there's that does work, and there's aspects of that. But like I said, when it all boils down to it, it's are you able to make a better decision next time? And when you do that, your soul changes for the better. Or at least that's the goal, right? That's the goal of going upwards. Should I change my speech with the music again? It's just like, never again will you feel alone. Life breathes into the soul, an eternal wind, brushing sand strokes across the internal sky. What's up from Fernando Hugues? Hello, welcome. All right, 8 volumes. All right, so he's talking about the time he almost died. At that time, I had completed the first draft of The Science of Personal Achievement in 8 volumes, and I needed a publisher. Mr. Don Mellett, publisher of the Canton, Ohio. So Mr. Mellett had been using his newspaper as a means to expose a very unholy alliance between the bootleggers and the police force of his city. 3 days before, we were to meet Judge Gary, a member of the police force, and a gangster shot and killed Don Mellett. Because I had been associated with him, the gang believed I too had something to do with their exposure. I missed assassination by only a few hours. For a year, I had to hide. At length, the murderers were caught, convicted, and given lifetime sentences in prison. Meanwhile, Judge Gary had died. All my pawns were upset. Yada yada. Some friends become enemies. Me used to trying to publish my writings. I found later that Judge Gary had become my financial backer, and if the Science of Personal Achievement had been distributed within the United States Steel Corporation as had been planned, I would forever after have been looked upon as a tool of big business. All right, we might skip this. This is kind of washed out. We're looking for the beef, man. Here we go. Here's the beef. Every adversity has within it the seed of an equivalent or a greater benefit. All right, so that's transmutation right there. Not only is that's the law of compensation. You guys know what the law of compensation is? We find that in Hermetic teachings as well. Law of compensation is this. The physical. All right, so I'll paint you a picture. You are pushing your child on the swing, or you're pushing a friend or a sibling, or you're pushing someone on a swing, and you're standing behind them. Oh, you scared me, baby. What's up, my love? You want to say hi real quick? Alice is right here.
Oh.
What happened? You hurt yourself?
Oh.
Oh, what?
You hide it.
What? Here, look at it. Look at it. Whoa, that's my baby. You want to say something? Here. Talk.
The catcher is the deployment.
What?
The catcher is deployment.
The catcher is deployment?
Yes, it is. The company deployment is the comp from 378 degrees from Fahrenheit. It's from negative 378.
Okay, thanks, Bubba.
And turns.
Thanks, my love. All right, Dada's working. Here, go inside, my love.
Okay.
Thanks, Bubba. What are you looking at?
You hear that?
That's the washing machine from the neighbors. The neighbors are washing clothes. All right, this is going to be one for a proper breakdown. I want you to write this on a card, that every adversity has within it its seed of an equivalent or a greater benefit. Can you remember that? Please write it on a card. Carry the card in your pocket and read it daily. In that phrase lies the key to many a man's peace of mind. It is not the supreme secret to which I have referred, but it lives on the same street. Set firmly into your consciousness. Every adversity has within it the seed of an equivalent or a greater benefit. Thus, it is possible and strongly advisable to close the doors to your past insofar as any regrets or bitterness or post-mortems are concerned. You are searching for wealth and peace of mind. Neither the way to health nor the way to peace of mind leads through the graveyard of unpleasant experiences long past. Right, we're getting back to peace of mind, right? Relaxing the mind so that it can work properly. Relaxing the mind so it's acting out of a proper abundant mind state, not fear, which is a collapsing mind state. Close the door to your past, to any regrets of bitterness. You are searching for wealth. You are searching for peace of mind. Neither the way to wealth nor the way to peace of mind leads through the graveyard of unpleasant experiences long past. When you have attained peace of mind, your mind will automatically reject every thought and every mental reaction which is not beneficial to your welfare. Meanwhile, help yourself attain this great command of mind, and it can do for you, and all it can do for you. Avoid all negative mental influences, and especially avoid that shadow of mournful regret, which can keep all the sunshine out of your life, and keep out the gold as well. Mystic Auto Shaman, thanks for stepping in, brother. Thank you. To everyone else who are reading Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, and we're going over some of the spiritual aspects so that we can... I just want to hammer home on these aspects, you know. I want to be that conduit that spits it out like 16 different ways in hopes of one of them sticking, and not only for you guys, by the way. I'm half doing this for myself. So thank you for hanging out and being a part of the party, a part of the vibe. Part of the vibe. Okay. All right, so far was compensation. We went over that. Compensation. Oh, that's right. When Alice came in, I was talking about the swing. The equivalent energy of the or the energy of the cause will somehow reflect very closely the energy of the effect will match very closely the energy of the cause. That is the law of compensation. So the amount of struggle you have to go through is a seed that will be planted for your benefit, and the power of that seed will be equal to the power of the negative experience that planted that seed in the first place. In other words, if you're experiencing a terrible calamity, if you manage to plant a positive seed of that calamity, the power of that seed will match that energy. And if you play your cards right, it will exponentiate that energy. But the starting point at least will be right there. Does that make sense? Because compensation, that's the law of rhythm right there. Rhythm compensates. The swing of the left compensates for the swing of the right. The swings back and forth. You push it one way and it's going to go up. And its peak on the one side is going to be roughly the peak on the other side if left to its own devices, right? So that's what we're learning. We're learning law of rhythm, compensation. It's great. See, it's great. There's alchemy everywhere. There's alchemy everywhere. Right now, it's in money. Shout out Scorpio. Where's my Scorpio? Do I have any Scorpio squad in here? I think there's only like 4 people watching. That'd be dope if all of you were Scorpio. That would be hilarious. Okay, time is the great magician. closed the door on ugly experiences, disappointments, frustrations. Then the great magician, time, can transmute past sorrows and mistakes into present rewards, success, happiness. Knut Hamsun, a Norwegian immigrant, failed at everything he tried in this country. In desperation, he decided to write the story of his struggles. His book, which he called Hunger, won the Nobel Prize for Literature. Hamsun's terrible experiences at length had made him a rich and famous man. Harry Truman failed as a haberdasher. I don't know what that is. Harry Truman failed as a haberdasher. If, from then on, he had considered himself a failure, he certainly could not have entered upon the road to presidency. We have also the example of another man who took up storekeeping, but the store failed. He took up engineering and also failed. The sheriff sold his surveying instruments to pay his debts. He joined a group of soldiers in an Indian war and had the rank of captain. His record as a soldier was so poor that he was reduced to the rank of private and then sent home. He was passionately in love and engaged to be married. The girl died and left him in a terrible state of shock. He took up law, won a few cases. He went into politics, ran for office, and was defeated. Is it astonishing that Abraham Lincoln eventually became president? I was wondering where this was going. Isn't it astonishing that Abraham Lincoln eventually became president? In a way it is, and in a way it is not. He might have allowed his mind to drag failure and discouragement after him, as a prisoner drags his chains. After all, so many people do. And they are indeed prisoners of the past, never able to break free of the image of failure, which to them means me. He did not do this, however. The way in which he determinedly left failure behind him was no miracle. It is a grand privilege available to every human being. The man who became president had been tempered in the fires of life, or he could not have been what he was, nor have done what he did. It's funny, in the Colburn Bible, we just read that. It says the metal that is tempered in flame longest is the stronger sword, meaning he who was wrought upon by earth. If he can, that's what the Colburn leaves out, is if he gets his shit together, we'll make him that much better for it. And like Napoleon Hill just said, the seed of calamity will match that power. He wanted us to write it down. I didn't write it down, so I forgot. But what did he say? He said, every adversity has within it the seed of an equivalent or a greater benefit. And we know that. We know that inherently. We know that when I say that out loud, I'm sure none of you guys are like, oh, really? I didn't know that. Like, no shit, Keith. The reminder is nice, and the process, not the process, the details, some aspects of it in the esoteric sense, in the spiritual sense, click on different subconscious parts of us, and we are able to experience the knowledge without actually having to experience the knowledge. Like, that's sort of intuition. That's the power, right? That's the feminine right there. That's the passive power. That's the power of the passive, is it can experience something without actually experiencing it, because it's sort of always on, you know what I mean? It's always gathering data. So with the knowledge, the esoteric knowledge, we can sort of do that. We can sort of read stuff like this, break it down on an esoteric level, and be like, oh, I get it now. Like, I get the nuts and bolts of it. I get how, how I, or maybe not even if at first you get it, and then you can do something about it. Like, oh man, I failed at this, and I wasn't successful at that, and I failed at that. But all the things that I did, and all those things built a variable of different skills that I slay at, and now when I hit the next level of my life, I'm killing it, because I was able to gain all those skills, and I was able to apply those skills in other areas of my life. I was able to get a beautiful woman, and now I have a family, or I was able to get this wonderful job, or I quit my job, and now I do whatever whatever I want. You know what I mean? It's whatever the plan is. You cannot see all the great. You cannot see all of the great plan of your life. You can make it full and rewarding. However, if you treat each sorrow and setback as a tempering toward greater and richer experiences to come, that's what it is. It's keeping that note in the pocket. It's if you treat each sorrow and setback as a tempering toward a greater and richer experience to come. Oh man, isn't that beautiful? Isn't that inspiring? And now it's not inspiring just to read it. It's not inspiring just to read it. Now it's inspiring because we can kind of feel it on a different level that we could feel it before, you know? And thank goodness for the structure of existence. That feeling can be greater ad infinitum, all the way till the top, baby. Or there really is no top. There's just infinity, all the way until we get sucked back into the mind of the all. Magical night, isn't it? N'est-ce pas? Haberdasher dealer. Oh, they deal men's clothes. Haberdasher. Interesting. Alarani Noskental. Oh, I haven't seen that name in a while. How you doing? How you been? Aries Pisces, Alarani? Have we had this conversation? I am also Aries Pisces. I'm Aries, Sun, Pisces, Moon, Aquarius, Rising. So Alarani, sounds like we're squad. All right. Love. Have you been disappointed in love? Your heart feels literally broken. You can see no joy in the world. You may wish to take an overdose of sleeping pills and end it all. Yet, is it likely that nowhere in the world exists the woman or man who can take the place of the one you lost? A moment of thought within the citadel of your deepest mind will show you this is hardly possible. Right, remember we talked about earlier, the citadel of your deepest mind. We're in the innermost part of your soul without any distractions because the walls are that well protected. So what happened with me, Napoleon says, for after a dreadful disappointment of the heart, I made a combination of circumstances which led at last to the perfect wife. There is a more poignant point to the story. When after a violent lover's quarrel, my first sweetheart turned away from me, married another man, I thought the world had ended. 5 years later, the man she married committed suicide, unbalanced by the constant friction of living with the woman I had been so anxious to marry. Where would I have been with a terror of a woman who heckled me instead of helping me? Every adversity has within it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. Remember that even a condition which the world calls handicap, you can call benefit, and make it truly so. I have mentioned that Thomas Edison had a little formal schooling, had very little. Clement Stone, the highly successful insurance man, was a high school dropout. So many men have succeeded despite the lack of book learning that, without in the least downgrading education, we may say the lack of it need not be a handicap. It depends again on the man. But what of Edison's deafness? Surely a very marginal ability to hear is a handicap, but again, it depends on the man. On being deaf, Edison said, Napoleon asked him if it was something bad, and Edison said, to the contrary, deafness has been a great help to me. It has saved me from having to listen to a lot of worthless chatter, and it has taught me to hear from within. And anyone who wants peace of mind, peace of mind, peace of mind, should remember those last 3 words, hear from within. By transmuting his affliction into a benefit, Mr. Edison learned how to tune in on all the subtle power which waits within every mind. He felt it too, that he heard from within the voice of an infinite intelligence and received guidance from an infallible source. Every adversity has within it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. Malarani. You always pop on and say exactly what I need to hear. It's uncanny. Not anymore, because it sounds like we're both Aries Pisces. So maybe we just, whenever I'm feeling something, you feeling it. Maybe we're just tapped in, man. We're on that. What's Napoleon Hill call it? Not universal mind, something mind. No, what kind of? What is he? What's it? Come on, you guys. You guys know Napoleon Hill? Oversoul mind, overlord mind. It'll come to me. It'll come. It'll come. Sea Fleet, Aries Pisces as well? What? Duwada. Very peculiar. Don't you think? Real talk. We have 3 Aries Pisces in here? Hey, with our powers combined. Okay, so that last chapter was all about the transmutation of lead into gold. Lead into gold. Let it be noteworthy that we are a full 2 chapters in and we're not talking about money. Think and Grow Rich, one of the main books put out for people wanting to make money, for businessmen, is 2 chapters in and has not mentioned money really at all. It's mentioned success, but success isn't only measured in money. For example, all the failures that we learned about Abraham Lincoln in this last chapter, failed a dozen different weak-ass jobs, but somehow made it to be president and slayed, I think, for the most part. Whether he was on the dark side or the good side or the gray side, he was a gray Jedi. Regardless, he still slayed on top. That's sort of that. On a side note, know that what I'm doing here, about talking about getting things done, can happen on the dark side. It's actually exactly how it these laws aren't good or bad. It's not a good or bad thing. They are just mechanisms of the universe is what we're learning about. So don't get it twisted about who's using them to get what. It's not like bad people can't. It's not like objectively bad people can't slay the universal mechanisms. In fact, I would say the best evil people in the world are ones who know law. If you are a Star Wars fan and you listen to the dark side and you listen for their, like, your anger, your hate, feel your anger. I mean, why do they want you to feel your anger so bad? They want the anger to take over your body because there is unfathomable amounts of power in anger. That's why and they know that emotions are powerful, and to transmute an emotion isn't to transmute it into a good thing. To transmute an emotion is to just utilize the energy from that emotion to get something done. And the dark side likes to use the bad emotions to fuel themselves. That's why they're so chaotic. That's why they're so, lose their hair. And that's why when you use the power, it kills you. That dude, remember when he's fighting my boy Samuel L. Jackson and he's using the laser finger thing? And he's almost dying, and Samuel L. Jackson's like, no, he's got his lightsaber, he's blocking them. He's like, ah. And then at the end of the little duel, I forgot sorry, Star Wars people, I forgot the bad guy's name, but at the end of that encounter, his skin was white, his hair was gray, his eyes turned like white. Using the power fried his physical form, because that's what happens when you use negative energy to fuel yourself. It degrades the vessel. It's erratic power. It's uncontrolled power, which is destructive, right? So there's it's everywhere. Isn't it crazy? You learn these laws and you see the operation of these laws in every story you read. And the better the story, the better the story, the more they will incorporate those laws. Because if you on some kind of level, we would understand. It would be weird for the bad guys to be able to use all their power and for them not to change. You know what I mean? Not to degrade in a way. Even like the comic book, the bad guys are always crazy. They're lunatics. They're like losing their minds because because they live in the world of chaos. And it's like the Riddler. Oh. And then the opposite is Batman, who's complete order, who's got the squarest jaw you've ever seen. Is very angular and rigid, very masculine, like complete order, and almost to a fault, right? That's why That's why Batman and Riddler make such a good combination, because Riddler's chaos and Batman is order, and they're each like poking at each other, trying to find the middle. It's 808. Our magic number. Our magic number. Ambiguous figs. Hello. Can't lie well without truth. Oh man, right? That's also what they say. The best lies have within them a piece of truth. Which is what the dark side does too. They drop keep oh man, listen to your favorite who gives an ultimate bad guy speech. It was one of the Batman villains. I remember he gave a phenomenal bad guy speech, and it was like, damn bro, he's right. He's super right. He's dropping truths, man. He's dark side's dropping the truth. Sometimes the dark side will drop truths that you don't. If you notice what the dark side that the villain does is, when the villain wants to mess up the good guy the most, it's not with a lie, it's with the truth. When the villain wants to mess up the superhero the most, it's not with lies, it's with the truth. It's like unbearable truths, and they love it. They're just like, ha, and then they start cackling maniacally to themselves because they know they've just dropped a bomb, and they're doing their mic drop, and they're just running off into the distance. You know what I mean? Just like a bunch of crazy people. Oh man. Anywho, how you guys doing out there? Should we keep going? We've been on this live for what, a good hour. We could do what we're doing now literally for the next like 72 hours, I'm sure, if we wanted to, and just finish this whole book, but I don't think I have it in me. I also have work tomorrow morning. There's also that. Hey, I'm gonna insert an ad right here. Actually, this might be a good time. Let us. Hey, what's today? Thursday? Let me know if you want me to keep reading. By the way, this is all on you guys. I'm gonna do some behind the scenes stuff real quick. Where is the button? Why can I not find the button? There we go. Looking for my YouTube studio. Hello, everyone. Welcome on in. Take your shoes off. Stay a while. I'm your host, Keith. Man of Letters, here to bring you knowledge, information, hopefully at the very least a bit of entertainment. We're reading Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, and we're dissecting the hell out of it. We're like, hey, you want that finance game on point? Get that soul on point. Get that soul on. I know we're getting super woo. Don't forget the bottom line. Right now, we're channeling our money into material wealth, baby. Within reason, right? Within reason. I know the piano's making me feel all the feels right now, creative. I'm just like kind of lost in it for a second there. Okay. 5:30, I'll take it. Okay, let's read a little more then. Let's do a little gander, eh? Where are we? Whoa, I pulled up the Colburn Bible, and it was just my mind try to get into Colburn Bible reading mode, and it was like I don't know, it was like throwing a bucket of hot water into an ice bath. I was like, my brain was like, whoa, cannot compute. Wrong tab. Okay, let's keep going. We'll keep going. When you speak of failure, you attract failure. When you speak of success, you attract success. I once made a survey of more than 30,000 men and women to ascertain their staying qualities in the face of failure and defeat. For the majority of those people who took it, only one setback. For the majority of those people, it took only one setback to wed them to defeat. Of those who kept on aspiring, another large percentage got started in various projects but quit even before meeting with defeat. The defeat came not from circumstances, but from the built-in attitude of defeat which they carried from the past. Instead of closing the door on the past, which is what we learned before, they ran back through that door at every opportunity. Needless to say, there were no Fords or Edisons in this group. Ford as in the person, not the geographical landmark. On the other hand, I am reminded of a man named Arthur Dezio, who built his career out of a family failure that had cost all of his father's savings. It was a business in mobile homes which never got going. Now the father handed it to the son hopelessly. What could Dezio, then in his 20s, do with the business? Most men would have liquidated it on the spot. Starting in this garage next to the railroad tracks in Eckert, Indiana, Mr. Dezio first designed a small, easily transportable mobile home with which research had shown him was needed. Later, he applied General Motors methods in a business which had never been known before. He introduced frequent model changes. He built a network of dealers. He brought out 4 lines of mobile homes, each competing with the others. Ha ha ha. Hilarious. He created 4 different models of mobile homes and had them compete with each other. His company's sales in 4 years have increased 500%, and Mr. Dezio has made $5 million out of the business that was about to fail. Mind you, this is $5 million like literally 120 years ago. Today's population includes a large proportion of young marrieds and retired couples, both groups being prime customers for mobile homes. Of course, Mr. Dezio realizes this, for every age has its special ways. The many failures who turned up in my survey of some years ago displayed a failure quality which belongs to any age. Not only had those people failed, but they kept on living with their failures. They spoke of it in preference to other topics. They lived in the past tense, reliving the pain of what had been. Those who had succeeded, however, spoke in the future tense. In the future tense, their eyes were not upon their past, which often contained a good share of mistakes, but ever upon the future, upon their great objectives. This, too, was the invariable case with those 500 and more vastly successful men whom I interviewed at the behest of Andrew Carnegie. On their way up, they talked the way up. Where failure had been laid behind, failure stayed behind. And notably, it stayed out of their conversation. Now, I want to touch on something real quick, because we all have the homies, and sometimes we might be the homie, that whenever they have a conversation, it's always like, yeah, but man, man. And this is sort of... This is where we have the Ford, the fork in the road with modern spirituality, because we're getting into the sort of the secret, as in the movie The Secret category, and like woke new age spirituality, which like just think happy thoughts and good things will always happen, and we're getting into that territory. So I want to state something and make something clear. This isn't just always think happy thoughts and always good things happen to you, because bad things happen to you regardless. Welcome to being a human. The point is, that's being made very well clear here, is the ability to let go of the past. Letting go of the... Specifically, remember we were talking subconscious mind. We're programming the subconscious mind, programming the base frequency that we give out. The successful people had conversations about the future. And I'm assuming if they did have conversations about the past, and specifically past failures, it wasn't about the failure itself, but the seed of success that was planted within that failure. The seed of success that was equal in power to the power of the failure itself. I'm guarantee you that's the conversation. And it's not woe is me. It's fan-fucking-tastic that happened. Or maybe not fantastic that happened, right? Because it's not all gravy. But fantastic, I was able to gather myself enough during that calamity to dig a gold mine. That's where we're at. Right, this isn't all love and light, baby. I made a video the other day. This is not a love and light channel. You can be the most loveliest, lightest person you done ever did lit a room, and a meteorite will still fall on your head eventually. Right, this isn't the love and light squad. This is the mechanisms of existence squad, and hopefully we go to the light side with it. Hopefully we're Jedi and not Sith. Hopefully. Or if you do decide to go Sith side, I get it. Sith's gotta exist, baby. If you do decide to go Sith, can you find a worthy adversary? We all want worthy adversaries, right? I would imagine a Sith would want a worthy adversary. Maybe not, but it would be helpful. It would be helpful. My hat is off to you, sir. I'll see you in the ring. In other words. All right. I lost my spot. I blacked out. What happened? I blacked out. Okay, those who had succeeded, however, spoke in the future tense. Their eyes not some friends beginning concerning success and failure. I have observed another trait which has much to do with peace of mind. It is obvious that those who are filled with malice and envy do not have peace of mind. Their malice and envy sour their lives. Often, failure so often hates the very sight of success. Speaking with successful men, I have noticed they speak in complimentary terms of other men who are succeeding. Their attitude is not one of envy, but of willingness to learn from others. The failure, on the other hand, goes out of his way to find some adverse criticism of the successful person. If he can't find anything doubtful about the way that person does business, then he will pick at some other area. His malice is evident, and so is the sad fact that he not only cannot command what money can buy, but also he cannot attain peace of mind. Woo! I feel like I need to make this screen a wee bit smaller. Okay, there we go. Are you guys drinking water? Are you drinking plenty of water? I hope so. I hope you're drinking plenty of water. There's 6 concurrent viewers, and we have 66 views. 666. It's like, hey, did y'all say y'all trying to do occult stuff with money? It's all the devil enters chat. I heard y'all was trying to make some more money. Yes, we are. Not today, Satan. Trying to get that finance game hyped. You guys all need to type finance in the comment section so that we hit that finance CPM. Shout out if anyone runs a YouTube channel knows what I'm talking about. Plenty, agua, aquí. Good, creative. Happy to hear it. Can I have some popcorn? May I have some popcorn, please? Shall we keep going? I'm gonna do one more little segment because I'm enjoying myself, so I might as well. This next segment is... Excuse me. Got the hiccups tonight. All right. Let's fire this. Fire it up, baby. Oh, before I start, I'm going to insert an ad right there. I love you guys. Don't hate me. This is how we make our passive revenue. Ads inserted. Cool. Thanks. All right. Let us continue. Let us. Is there a definite connection between being wealthy and having peace of mind? There is a connection, but it is not absolute. There certainly are poor people who have peace of mind, but there are far more rare than but they are far more rare than folklore would have us believe. You need not be a millionaire, but without sufficient money, you are cut off from much in life that sustains the spirit. Interesting. If you are continually worrying about where your next meal is to come from, when you'll be able to get your shoes repaired, how you are going to pay your dentist bill, how many more years your house can go without paint, you have no peace of mind. If your lack of funds forces you to live in a shabby neighborhood so that you constantly worry about the influence upon your children, then again, you have no peace of mind. If you cannot occasionally buy and cherish something that is beautiful, if you cannot afford a vacation you really enjoy, if you can't partake of a motion picture or a stage show which you know is very much worthwhile, your mind does not have the chance to satisfy itself. Money brings much good into your life, and much that nobody should have to do without. It is no surprise that there are many rich people who enjoy peace of mind, but there are many who do not. If the main purpose of a fortune is to make its possessor worry about keeping his fortune, peace of mind goes out the window. One of the failures which have illumined my knowledge and strengthened my soul came when I was quite wealthy. I simply became poor, quite poor. The circumstances are revealing. Perhaps as a compensation for the dirt-poor days of my youth, I became enamored in big houses, big cars, lush acreage, and similar symbols of wealth. Perhaps I was merely in line with my times, which seemed to demand that when a man had money, he had to display it. Today's millionaires are much less ostentatious. At any rate, my books were selling well. I had made a name as a trainer of salesmen, other enterprises prospered, and so it seemed imperative that I must drive a Rolls Royce. Soon I had a pair of Rolls Royces. Soon after this, I cradled my cars in a big garage on a large estate in the Catskill Mountains north of New York City. I saw that estate as a monument to my achievements. The estate called for servants, for a maintenance staff, for foremen over the maintenance men. It called for lavish dinner parties, the expense of which would have been made by John D. Rockefeller. So he was ballin'. Once I gave out a general invitation to a barbecue dinner, expecting that perhaps 100 people would show up. Over 3,000 came. The highway was tied up with a traffic jam for 2 miles each way, and the traffic patrolman never did forgive me. The clubhouse on the estate could sleep 40 guests in comfort and was seldom without a full load. Once the overflow swept into my private quarters, I arrived home hoping for some peace of mind and found a stranger asleep in my bed. Moreover, he had appropriated the only pair of PJs I had available. Let us draw the curtain on Hill Estate. It went for a song shortly after the crash of 29. But when I got over the initial shock, how relieved I felt, how peaceful, how newly powerful was the mind which had been overlaid with worry. Power. This is the peace of mind thing, you guys. So here's what's coming up again. Here's the esoteric just gem that he just bing dropped in the bowl for us. How peaceful, how newly powerful was the mind which had been overlaid with worry. That's why the very first chapter, the very first nugget dropped was peace of mind. Because the mind that can attain peace is the powerful mind. And that's what we want. We want powerful minds to attain the things that we want. And stress zaps that power. Stress zaps that power. And unless you're a friggin' Shaolin monk trained at the age of 3 all the way up to just like wear boulders off the dome and not even break a sweat, then you're probably going to need at least a little bit of finances to keep you out of the fight or flight mode, because that's what we're trying to avoid. The healing body. I'm getting way ahead of myself. Anywho, peace of mind is where it's at. Peace of mind is where it's at. So 3 of my friends whose combined assets were less than the amount I lost when I lost my estate did not have faith in the great principle that every adversity has within it the seed of an equivalent benefit. One jumped off a high building on Wall Street. One fired a bullet into his brain, and the third man was hauled out of the Hudson River 6 weeks after he had jumped in. I made money again. Of course I did. The principles of the science of achievement saw to that. My lost estate had not lost with it my knowledge. Knowledge that any goal set up by a human mind can be achieved by that mind's possessor, and ever since, I have lived comfortably, but without show. For what good is money when it becomes a millstone? I love it. Beautiful, wonderful. I love it. Fantastic. Fantastic. All right, I need to eat some food and let this video marinate, because we've given you guys quite a bit to marinate on. We have quite the marmalade going at the moment. Quite the marmalade going. Peace of mind. Keep that peace of mind. Peace of mind. Knowledge. You can burn down possessions, but knowledge you take with you everywhere. Sea Fleet, how's it going? Are you still there? Creative Mind, Ambiguous, Alarani, Noskintal. I love this stand-up bass in this song. It just comes in. Listen, listen, listen. Wait for it. Man, taken places. Taken places. Oh, hello Sea Fleet, hello Alarani, hello everybody. Nice to see you. I'm thinking about getting some food. It's like I have my new mic now, and I got my new preamp for the mic now. I got new lights. Oh, I didn't even turn this light on. I got a new Edison bulb. They call them Edison bulbs. I wish they called it Tesla bulbs. I got a new Edison bulb for the for the channel. I just don't want to end it, but I also need to eat. You know what I mean? Wait. Go ahead. Okay. Tomorrow, what do you guys want to do? Are you guys trying to put yourselves in money and making money frame of mind right now, or do you want to dip back into Colburn and put yourself in the I need to just be a better person frame of mind and not act like a jackass all the time? Or are you trying to get those finances? What should we do tomorrow? I'm like, I could go without worrying. I read the part where he's like, people can't be peace of mind when they're worrying about if they can pay the dentist, which is the exact boat I'm in right now. I have a dentist appointment on Friday, and I'm like, how in God's name am I supposed to pay for the, like, what's going? This is just silly. Right now it's silly. It's extraordinarily stressful at other parts of the day. So it's finances are a real thing, man. Peace of mind is substantial. You know, I should find the study, but I read it in one of those psychology books back in the day that said, when it comes to money, is that it empirically, is that the right word? Objectively, demonstratively makes people happier the more money people have, up to $1,000. So up to $100,000. So these tests that they did showed that once you passed $100,000, more money didn't necessarily make you happier. Now I read this, God, in like 2000, probably 14-ish. So we're gonna have to take into consideration inflation and say, and current housing market, and say, I don't know, $175,000 a year. I don't know. Point being, not as much as you would think, and certainly not $1 million. Certainly not $1 million. I know me specifically. I don't want to. I for sure can see myself being that person where it's like, oh, I'm happy where I'm at now, but I would be stoked at like 150 a year. I'd be killing it, and I can't see it making me happier per se. That what I want to do with more money is like, now I want to share that happiness with people, and so I guess that would make me happier. But that's what I mean. I don't think I'm pretty sure I'll be able to share a plenty with 150K to satisfy that happiness. I just want to like grow forests in the middle of the desert type shit, and I'm gonna need a lot of money for that. That's where my head's at. Not really because that's gonna make me happier. I don't think it will, but that doesn't mean I don't want to grow a big-ass forest in the desert. That doesn't mean I don't want to plant me a frankincense tree orchard. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean I don't want to build me a pyramid, or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, 9. You know what I'm saying? You feel me knocking? Do you feel me knocking? Sea Fleet money, give me all the money. I mean, it is Scorpio season. That's why one of the reasons why this thought came up. I'm with you, Sea Fleet. I do love the music you play. Could you share a playlist? So the flute that you're hearing is the Daduk flute. Just type that into YouTube, Daduk flute. Just type in Daduk flute on YouTube and or on whatever you listen to, and find your favorite ones. That's the flute you're hearing. The piano is just stuff I recorded in my room so that I could have some cool, tasty, vibey feels piano music behind the vibes. So that's not actually out on online. It's just like some doodly doos. It's just some doodles I did in the room, basically. I could send you all the doodles I do. We can do all the doodles. But the flute that you're hearing, just you can Google that, Daduk flute. There's just people slay. It's pretty nice. Or we'll play for you guys. We have Sorry, that's probably pretty confusing with both of those flutes going in your ear in different keys. I'm sorry, I should have paused the music. But I'm planning on making a nice little flute. Maybe a little flute, my own flute backing track would be fun. Anywho. Yeah, finance is at the forefront for me right now too. We're all like, yo, we love the spirit, but we could use some cash. So wagwan. All right, we'll open back up with this tomorrow. It would be nice. I'm not a big podcaster, and my head's not in the podcast. My reference is not in the podcast state. It's in like the YouTube live and video state. So I need help, like trying to figure out a good way to turn these lives into a solid podcast format with relative ease and grace. I don't know if I want to put in the effort to do that, but I feel like I should at some point, because what we did tonight, edited and chopped up a bit, I feel like that would make a fantastic podcast episode. Like, Wouldn't it? I think I feel like it would. I feel like it would. Um, the piano earlier was me. Yes, I play the shit out of the piano. Piano is. I play. I'll put some piano videos up. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm actually a musician. I have my own reggae band, and we play all. That's why I wasn't really too active this year, is because we were killing it. We still are killing it, but I miss being on YouTube, so I'm making time. But yeah, the pianos. I love the piano. But if anyone's out there in SoCal or wants to visit SoCal, come out to a show. We play as far south as San Diego, as far north as, I don't know, Santa Barbara, San Luis Obispo, if you know the area, which is far. It's basically all of Southern California. We've been making moves. But yeah. Is there any other questions I can answer for you? Anything? Any other way? Any other thing you would like to have off your chest? This is oregano. Or this is oregano. This is a. You guys like the oregano smudge sticks we have? Oregano smudge sticks is what these are. It's like white sage. YouTube, it's like white sage. It's like white sage. We smudge. We light it. And then we smudge it. Light. And then smudge. You ready? Oregano smudge sticks. A la da da. We got like the shamans. We breathe it in so that we can like blow it. Like during ceremony. Alright, we have now cleansed the ceremonial space. And now we're back up to 10 viewers. It's like, everyone's all, hey, we want to... like, hey, y'all reading Napoleon Hill finance stuff? Y'all trying to make money? I love white sage. I love white sage too. I have a beautiful white sage bush in the backyard that I grew from seed, and I'm so proud of it because I see it every day, and it's just this beautiful, massive sage plant. And we make tea out of it. When I'm feeling sick, I make little herbal extracts, and we put it on raviolis, and I'm just like, oh, the little white sage that could. Maybe this is, if you just type in Keith G, Keith G Music, you can find me everywhere. We do pretty well. Our Spotify releases is doing pretty well. We're new. My band is like a year old. I've been playing music forever, but I started a solo career, and we're about as old as COVID, and it's beautiful. Oh man, I'll go live. I have a show. I'll have some acoustic shows this Saturday, and they're gonna be beautiful. I'll go live for you guys. So Saturday night, be here if you want to see a live show. It's awesome. It's a really fun vibe. It's a really great sound. And that is, I'll probably I'll send out a post. I have 2 shows Saturday actually. I'm playing early afternoon and late evening. I'll go live on both if you guys want. I'm always wary of showing the music or keeping keeping all the niches together. But you best know that we're slipping that hermetic and alchemy in all of those songs. Let me see if I can. Oh, I can't. Always with the. Nope, not that one. Not that one, huh? Weak sauce. Alright, Alarani. Naskintar. We'll go live. On Saturday, we're going live from 12 to 1 Pacific Standard Time. And then from 6 to 8:30 is our second show. So very early afternoon on Saturday. And that one's just a 2-piece. It's me and my guitarist. We're doing a little acoustic set like out on the patio at this vibey restaurant on Main Street. And then I'll have like a full band, sort of. I'll have my trumpet player. Hopefully, my upright bass player can make it. We found an upright bass player, and he's fucking so good. It's so much fun. I'll post some stuff. Maybe I'll do like post a short or post a actual video of the show of some footage we have. It's so dope. We'll have a trumpet. We'll have my guitarist. We'll have my. I don't think I'm bringing drums that night. I've been liking the percussion vibe, so I might just do percussion. But we'll see. It's gonna be awesome. You guys should definitely, if you're into that kind of thing, Lillian Castro, you should definitely tune in. Now I feel bad. We're up to 12 people in the room, and I'm about to log out. All right, we'll do this one real quick because it's really short, and now I feel silly for not. I just feel silly. The food's not going anywhere, I promise. All right, where are we? Lost my spot. Make sure your work and your money benefit someone besides yourself. One of the positive results that came after I had firmly closed the door of my experiences in the Catskill Mountains was this. I found time in which to write more books. These books have benefited me and they have benefited mankind. And so they have benefited me with more than money. When Andrew Carnegie decided to use his great wealth to found free libraries, he greatly increased his peace of mind. Henry Ford was pretty tough about giving away his money when at length he learned it was possible to find people who deserved it and would use it well. There is another important principle which ensures that as your wealth grows, so will your peace of mind. There's another law, and this one's found in the law of compensation. It's a good thing when it comes to money. I've talked about it before. And that's money coming to you on an energetic, etheric level, kind of a woo-woo esoteric, you know what I mean? Kind of woo-woo. It will come to you through the conduit in which you create for it. And if you create a very small conduit for it, you're going to get very little money. This works for all abundance. The tethering, the bridge to Terabithia, the rainbow bridge, whatever your tether is to the etheric, the size of it controls the amount that comes in. So doing something, in other words, what we're learning from here with Henry Ford or Napoleon Hill, is by doing something for other people, you're creating a larger conduit. Not only that, you're creating a peace of mind because helping people is satisfying. The average person wants to help other people. Like every one of you guys would drop $100 bill on a homeless person's lap in a heartbeat, in the blink of an eye. If we were millionaires, or at least I would, I'd be like, you get 100, you get 100, you get 100, and a couple J's that we rolled last week of the homegrown, and you get 100. Like, we love giving. We love giving. It makes us feel so good, right? So he's basically saying peace of mind, because we learned earlier that peace of mind is going to get you, is going to be peace of mind is a healthier place to make decisions from, in terms of success and meeting goals and setting up goals and attaining them, finances, making money. Like when we act out of fear, when we act out of lack, when we act out of these lower states, if we exist there, our actions are also there. And those type of limiting actions don't lead to unlimited potential, right? Cause and effect, baby. We're right back to cause and effect. Plant more perfect causes and you will get more perfect effects. Back to the conduit. So if yeah, I think does that make sense? I think that makes sense. I feel like that makes sense. Hello, Lillian Castro. Hello from California. Titi. Hello, Sunflower. Um, Welcome. Lillian, are you new? Welcome in. Take your shoes off. Stay a while. Would you like to let us know how you found yourself here? What are you into? What are your hobbies and interests? TT, do you like sunflowers? Is that your thing? We planted sunflowers a couple years ago, and ever since then, they just grow like weeds every year. Wonderful, pretty, vibrant weeds. But they do. I can see one right through the door. If the sun was out, I can't see because it's black out there. But I swear, it's right there. So sunflowers are kind of our thing back here. Welcome. Welcome. Jam tomorrow from John. Oh my! Speaking of my upright basis, he just texted me. He said jam tomorrow. What's good? What is this? All right. Are you guys satisfied? Is the thirst quenched? It's like never. Never is the thirst quenched. All right, real talk. Now I'm hungry. I'm proper hungry. So TT, Lillian, it's very nice to meet you. I don't know if it's lagging, but I'm here. I promise. Alarani, Naskantal, thank you. My Aries Pisces squad, dang man. Goddess Essence Energy. I hope I have given you guys enough food for thought. Oh my God, I have given you mountains of food for thought. I've given you mountains of gold for you to break your teeth on. And I hope you buy yourselves a fancy set of new ones with all the gold. I do. I lost sleep and found you by chance. So I'm not sure I understand lost sleep and found you by chance, but I love how it feels, but I'm not sure exactly what it means. Tampoco. Tampoco. I'm glad you found us, Lillian. Please stick around. We'll be back tomorrow. Check out the rest of the chat. We got audiobooks. We do. You know what we do. I think. But I'm very hungry, and I hope to see you guys all tomorrow. Right? Creative, Lillian, Titi, Goddess Essence, Alarani, Sea Fleet. I don't know. I'm leaving else out. Ambiguous Figs, if you're still here. Mystic Auto Shaman, Dipped Early, Julio. Okay. I love you guys. I'll see you soon. All right, bye.